Howdy and welcome to another episode of Breaking the Seal. If you like getting blitzed, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you like to just completely ignore that there's a whole November full of holidays here for you and just go straight on to December, the end of December, and start celebrating Christmas and just tear down your Halloween decorations, throw up the Christmas tree, all that good stuff, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You people are psychotic. I don't know. That's just insane to me. Just take all that down. Halloween's so great. I don't understand why you would do that to yourself. Anyways, as you can see from the display that I've got going on here, I need to make an announcement. You need to be 21 or older in order to have alcoholic beverages. Do not be driving after you have consumed or while you are consuming these beverages. And there's probably something else in there. Please be responsible. Do this in moderation. You don't want to end up naked, thrown up in your friend's bathroom, and then you have to get dragged out because you passed out and somebody else has to use the bathroom. It's a pretty rough experience, but then you wake up to opera, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, I haven't heard of, there we go, these two. These two I'm totally unfamiliar with. I'm really not sure about this one, but I mean, like, so I'm not actually here to taste test specifically these. We're trying to get in the holiday spirit. I'm trying to prepare you for the holiday spirit, so you really get that jolly Christmas kringle going on right when the December time comes. Isn't that going to be exciting? So what we are reviewing today, and I just had to grab it because when you see something that's 50% off, do you really turn something down that's 50% off? Really? I mean, unless it's like some huge expensive thing, but this ain't that expensive. 50% off. I was like, oh hell yeah. This is Eggnog. Lucerne. This is the Safeway brand eggnog. It is 50% off because it expires tomorrow. So I snatched that up real quick, and I will start doing a series of eggnog reviews so that you all know which brand eggnog you want to grab. And this is just going to be eggnogs that I happen across. Okay? I'm not going to get to all of them by the time November's over. I'm going to do some other stuff in the meantime, but this I don't expect to be absolutely spectacular. Safeway brand, they don't typically make eggnog on their own. This is 180 calories per serving, which is a half a cup, which is 120 milliliters. Oh boy. All right, so where can I put this? There's no way I can put this without blocking something else up. But you know what? I need it there so I have a thumbnail for this video. Isn't that exciting? The concept that I'm going to go with here is I'm going to put about half of these guys into each cup, and then I'm going, the internet says the proper ratio is 1:5. So 25 milliliters of that in here, and then 125 milliliters of eggnog in each one, and then I'm going to stir it up. I probably should have grabbed a spoon. I have a magnetic screwdriver. That's not a good idea. And then I'm going to taste it. Other people say that you should let it sit overnight, and nobody has time for that. Okay? If you're going to make eggnog and you're trying to get drunk, you make it right there. Nobody's waiting overnight for that kind of stuff. And if you want it mixed thoroughly, then you just buy it straight, the Southern Comfort, I think it is, from the store, already mixed up for you. Okay? So now, I'm also not going to be doing this for every eggnog going forward. This is for me to kind of decide which of these drinks, which of these liquors, I'm going to buy to mix with my drinks going forward. Brandy is probably the one that I covered up there, is likely the one that I'm going to go with. That's the go-to. After that, it's like rum and then whiskey and then some other stuff. But you know what? This is why I do this, so you all know what you're going to be getting into. First of all, I can't even do that. I can't even mix any alcohol in here because I need to do a taste test of this grade A pasteurized, homogenized, non-alcoholic eggnog. Let's go ahead and pop this almost expired bad boy open. Do I need to shake this? Is that a thing? Made with milk from cows not treated with RBST with 2 asterisks. Why would you put asterisks after saying it's not treated with something? Oh lord. I do not see anything about shake well. So I think we're good. Oh, no, there it is. Shake well in the fine print. Time to shake it up. All right, I think that's appropriate enough. That's bent up now. Go ahead and pour some out just for the taste test. This is the virgin eggnog. Nice and goopy, just as anticipated. I always think eggnog looks kind of like just melted vanilla ice cream, like something that's been sitting in your car for a while, so that it's lost its purely white look to it, and now it's got a little bit of that vanilla bean color starting to come into it, which I'm sure sounds appetizing, right? Let's go ahead and give it a taste. Yep, I do taste a bit of sugar in there. Being that it's Lucerne brand, it honestly doesn't feel fully eggnog. It's definitely got almost a plastic taste to it, which is always unfortunate. And I don't believe the plastic taste comes from the container that it's in. I always think that it's just a poor product, as I'm using this to determine what liquor I'm going to be putting into the rest of my eggnogs going forward. It's definitely got a very syrupy and viscous mouthfeel that goes along with it. In a way, argued that there's almost a pulp, maybe bits of nutmeg in there. I think it's got some of that in there. Natural and artificial flavors added. I don't know. But sometimes when you take a sip of it, it almost feels a little grainy, as probably scary as that sounds. But, you know, I always took that as a normal with my eggnog. I won't be putting nutmeg on these because apparently that's very poisonous to dogs. I don't know how poisonous, but I'm not trying to risk that. So it's just not going to happen. So I have my baseline. I'm imagining that this is D tier eggnog right now. It's already going pretty low on the tier list. I'm going to go ahead and measure out and pour into each of these cups, so then I can go ahead and start pouring in half of these guys as well. This one's in glass. This one is our Martell Cognac versus... There we go. I've never actually purchased these little minis before. Next, we've got Paul Masson Brandy. This is probably going to be the go-to for most people. Then we got Captain Morgan Spiced Rum. Everybody knows this one. Everybody's got a big classic memory of this one at some kind of party. Then we've got Jim Beam Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. I know this one's, bourbon is up there. Bourbon seems kind of like an off choice. A lot of people didn't really go straight for that. They said a whiskey should go in there. Bourbon was not high on that list, but there's like 100 different kinds of whiskeys. I do really like that they just make it a mini version of their standard bottle. I think that's really neat. Then we've got Jackie D. Everybody knows you. This is what you use in a bar fight. That's the first thing you grab to smack somebody upside the head with. This is Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey. Oh my gosh, dude. I miss Tennessee barbecue so bad. That stuff is so good. You just can't replace it, man. Now, I will be honest. I am a sucker for vinegar-based barbecue sauces. Lastly, we've got Fireball. This is what I read online is Fireball whiskey is for when you're 17, degenerate, and out of cash. So you shouldn't be 17 when you're drinking this. You should be 21 or older. Now, naturally, it is a cinnamon flavor to it, so you should expect this cinnamon to go well with the flavor of eggnog because you want to add cinnamon to your eggnog. Well, some people do. I mean, it's got cinnamon on the front of it, right? Now, I'm sure this is a powerful smelling room right now. My wife would walk in and probably knock her ass out. Now, we need to go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and jump cut to the next part where all of this is filled up with eggnog and mixed up and we can actually get to the taste test. You need to mix this stuff. Don't just pour it in there and hope it works out. It looks foul. It is atrocious. It looks curdled. I can tell just by looking at it that if I were to take a sip of it, I would just get all alcohol and then like 2 sips later, I might get some eggnog. It just did not look like a pleasant experience. So make sure you go in and you mix this up thoroughly. I happen to have chopsticks and that worked out great. Hopefully, we're going to find out in this 1-to-5 ratio of all these different things. I'm just going to say that this is probably... No, this ain't in order of quality. Captain Morgan right in the middle here. He's party drink. I think this stuff is kind of bougie because I've never heard of it. And you're up there, and then you're just there to get messed up on. So let's go ahead and start with Martell Cognac Vendée in 17... Oh, probably founded in 1715. Wow, that's pretty old. Versus. I wonder who they're fighting against. You know what? I'm even going to lick the chopstick. I've already got a kick to it. Ooh, this is going to be a fun one. All right, so mixed up like that. It's very interesting because you can taste that there is alcohol in there. And normally when I have my first first sip of alcohol, I get that kick to it, you know, like that chill feeling. I don't know how many of you other people out there get that, but I didn't get that with this. Maybe it's because I've never had, no, that's all. I've had Hennessy before. So that mixed in, I feel like I didn't lose the flavor of the eggnog, but I feel like it's simply adjacent to the eggnog. I don't feel like it's necessarily enhanced. Yeah, it's spiked now, and if you consider spiking it to be an enhancement, great. But this doesn't feel like it added to, it felt like it was next to the eggnog, and you were just tasting both of them. I hope that makes sense. So let's move on to the next one, Brandy, the internet favorite by Paul Masson, Grande Amber, established in 1852. All right, so Martel has like 150 years on you. Let's go ahead and give you a little sip. I can see why Brandy's the favorite already, because it still tastes just like eggnog, and you're left with a hint of that alcohol tinge in there. It's not strong at all. Not at all. It really just tastes like eggnog, and you just happen to know that you're going to get drunk off of it. What's the proof on you? 40%. Okay. We can work with that. So that's smooth. This, you're going to know. You know there's alcohol in there. This is smooth. You're still going to know, but you're going to... Yeah. What do we got here? Captain Morgan, I have great memories with you. Also, Admiral Nelson. And there was another one. There's some funny little knockoffs of Captain Morgan. Absolutely spectacular. Let's see how spiced rum goes with this. Now, that feels like an addition to the flavor of eggnog. That does feel like it has additional spice in there, being that it's spiced rum. What spice? I don't know. I do not know my spices. My entire knowledge of spices comes from the Food War anime and manga. Let's move on to the bourbon. Jim Beam. Not Jim Bean. Jim Beam. M as in Mancy. Oh, that's strong. I can tell just by the chopstick this is knocking on your ass. So Jim Beam is pretty close to the cognac in that there's definitely much more of a kick to it than these two. But the bourbon definitely feels like it's added to the flavor, like it's mixed in a bit more. So it's kind of like Captain Morgan here, but instead it's still got significantly more kick. So if you're looking for more alcohol taste in your drink, I think this is a proper middle ground between Captain Morgan's rum and the cognac taste to it. I'm honestly, between these two are pretty spectacular, in my personal opinion, and I'll have to think on it a bit more. I don't know that I'll declare a winner in this video because I have a hard time making decisions. Jack Daniels. Number 7? Who's number 7? Well, we're going to try number 7, and I don't think there's quite 7 sips in here, but we'll make it count. This one is much softer in there. It's definitely similar to the cognac. The Tennessee whiskey is definitely adjacent to the eggnog flavor, but it is much softer. Doesn't kick you in the pants nearly as hard, which I find interesting. So I'm still leaning towards these guys because you're still maintaining a proper flavor of the eggnog. This one, you can barely even taste it. This stuff, that's dangerous right there. I mean, like, you can make that drink and just go chugging away, and you'll just never know that there even was a... That's a lie, but you'll know, but it's definitely less noticeable. Let's go ahead and go do the party drink here. That is honestly delicious. The addition of the cinnamon flavor is honestly wonderful. I do like it, and it's got a bit good spicy aftertaste to it. This is tough. All right, so we are definitely going to go with 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Captain Morgan, I feel like, is the only one that actually enhanced the flavor of the eggnog. Brandy definitely maintains the original taste of the eggnog, but Captain Morgan spiced rum definitely improved on it. The addition of the cinnamon and the other things that go into whatever heck spice that is. I looked it up. We've got cinnamon, clove, dried fruit, caramelized sugar, vanilla, and honey. All sound spectacular to go in your eggnog. So it just feels like the natural choice after reading those ingredients. Brandy is a spectacular runner-up. If you don't want the addition of that flavor, what I would consider an enhancement to at least this eggnog, go with Brandy, and you will still have an original taste to it. I'm planning on going with Captain Morgan unless somebody in my family convinces me otherwise. You will be seeing that in the next video. I think that's everything I got to say. Lucerne, You did a good job on giving me everything that I needed to taste test on liquors. By the way, I decided to set it over there. You probably noticed in the background next to my Super Meat Boy poster. Absolutely spectacular. Love that. One of my favorites of all time. I am going to work on finishing these off while I paint my wife's toenails. And I will see you all on the next one.